In this very lesson, we shall be looking at addition and subtraction of standard forms. Remember, we are still on the real number system and we are looking at what? Standard forms. To add or subtract a number that has been written in a standard form, what we are going to do is that we are going to rewrite the standard form numbers as ordinary numbers. Then we add or subtract these ordinary numbers. Then lastly, we convert the result to a standard form because the question was given in a standard form. So I have written down the steps here. You can pause the video and then you practice with it. So let's take our first example. So we are to evaluate 3.2 times 10 raised to the power positive 4 and then 9.7 times 10 raised to the power positive 3. So as I said earlier on, we are going to convert or express or rewrite these standard forms as what? Ordinary numbers. So we have our solution. So we have the first standard form. We have 3.2 times 10 raised to the power positive 4. In our previous video, we learned how to write this number as an ordinary number. We said that a positive power of 10 tells us that we have to move the decimal point to the right. So we have 3.2. So we are going to move the decimal point 4 places to the right. So we have 1, 2, 3, and then 4. So we have the point here. Then after that, we fill each empty space or gap with zeros. So we have 1, 2, and then 3. So our number becomes 32000. Good. Then we move on to the next standard form number. So we have 9.7 times 10 raised to the power positive 3. So with this, we are going to move the decimal point 3 places to the right. So we have 9.7. So we have 1, 2, 3. Our point is here, and then we fill each gap or empty space with 0. So we have 1, 2. So our number becomes 9700. So after expressing each of these standard forms as ordinary numbers, and then we add these numbers together. We add these ordinary numbers together. So we are going to have 32000, and then we have plus 0079. We are going to add them together. So we have 0, 0, we have 7, we have 1, and then 4. Good. Now the last thing that we are going to do is that we are going to convert this number to a standard form because the question was given in a standard form. So let's do that. So we have 41700. Good. So we are going to convert this number to a standard form because the question was given in a standard form. And we have learned how to convert an ordinary number to a standard form. Please, if you have forgotten, kindly go back and then watch the video on that. So in doing that, we are first going to identify the position of the decimal point, and then we are going to move it so that it will be in between the first two natural numbers. And each movement to the left is times 10 raised to the power 1. So we are going to have 4.17 times 10 raised to the power positive 4. So this number plus this number gives us 4.17 times 10 raised to the power positive 4. Very, very easy and as easy as ABC. Let's take our next example, please. So we have our second example. we have to subtract this number from this very number. So the first thing that we are going to do is that we are going to express each of these standard form numbers as an ordinary number. So we have 5.5 times 10 raised to the power positive 5. A positive power of 10 tells us that we have to move 5 places to the right. So we have 5.5, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. And then after that, we fill each gap with 0. So we have 1, 2, 3, 4. So our number becomes 5, 5, 0, 0, 0. And then the last 0. Then after that, we express this number also as an ordinary number. So we have 6.95 times 10 raised to the power positive 4. So we are going to get 6.95, 1, 2, 3, 4. 1 and then 2. So this number becomes 69500. Then after that, we perform our subtraction. So we are going to get so we have 0, we have 0. It's coming, so we come and borrow 1 from making 10. So we have 5, we are left with 9. 9 minus 9 gives us 0. We are left with what? 4. We can't subtract. We borrow 1, making 14. 14 minus 6 will give us what? 8. We are left with what? 4. Then the last thing that we are going to do is that we are going to convert this back to standard form because the question was given in a standard form. So this is going to be, now you know that the decimal point is here, we are going to move it so that it will be in between the first two natural numbers. So we are going to move it, so we have 1, 2, 3, 4, and then 5. So we have 4.805 times 10 raised to the power. You moved how many times? You moved 5 times, and we moved to the left. So you are going to have raised to the power 5. And that is that. We will take our last example and then we run out of here. So we have our next example. We have to add these standard form numbers together. So what we are going to do is that we are going to express each of these standard forms as an ordinary number. So we have our first number, 4.35 times 10 raised to the power negative 3. And we have learned that a negative power of 10 tells us that we have to move the decimal point to the left. So we have 4.35. So we are going to move the decimal point 3 places to the left. So we have 1, 2, and then 3. So our decimal point is here. And then we fill each empty space with 0. So we have 1 and then 2. So our number becomes 0.00435. And then we express this number also as an ordinary number. So we have 8.3. We are going to move on the decimal point 4 places to the left. So we have 1, 2, 3, and then 4. Our decimal point is here, and then we fill each empty space with zeros. So we have 1, 2, and then 3. So our number becomes then after that we add these two ordinary numbers together. So we are going to have so this and that will give us 8, this will give us 1, making 5, we have 0, 0.0, So that is that. And then the last thing that we are going to do is to convert this result back to standard form, because the question was actually given in a standard form. So we are going to get the decimal points here. We are going to move up to this very point. So we have 5.18 times 10 raised to the power how many movements? 1, 2, 3. So raised to the power -3. And that is that. This brings us to the end of today's lesson. I'm going to give you some tutorial questions. Pause the video, write them down, you try your hands on them. This brings us to the end of today's lesson. See you tomorrow. Bye bye.